What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if there'll ever be a Hitman 4 / another Hitman game altogether. Now, I know the first thing you guys are going to say is, Alex, you've lost your goddamn mind. Maybe, but Hitman 3 just came out. Hitman 3 came out yesterday. True. This is not a series to take super seriously. I like to do this with some I pick, new games or new movies. I like to talk about if there'll be another one in the franchise. And this one is quite different because the answer is actually right in front of us, okay, from what IO Interactive has said. And the answer is no. The answer is they're done. Now, does that mean they will never do Hitman again? No, and that's kind of where the discussion is brought up. How long do we have to wait? Will the next game be a continuation? Will it be another reboot? How would they do it? That's what I want to talk about in this video. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And if you guys want to subscribe to my second channel, I do have a second channel. I upload once a day on that channel. It's called Podcast Now Plus. I'll leave a link for it in the description below. All right, so part one, I guess, of this video or of this story is, again, for people that maybe don't know, IO Interactive, right, does Hitman, okay? Now, they self-publish. They've worked their way into the contract of being able to self-publish their own title. So Hitman 3 pretty much ends now and ends with them. I'm pretty sure they're the only ones that are able to make these games in the first place unless they were to let other people do it, okay, or let other studios do it. So it's over for now. Remember the James Bond game. Now, I know I get a lot of people that ask me this. Actually, this game, the game, you know, is so far out, and it was it wasn't a small announcement, but the way they handled it was kind of small. But people ask me it quite often. Is like, when do you think we're going to get that game? Well, the real reason why they announced that, I believe, when they did, was simply to give people a look as to what's coming, okay? They've talked about how this is the end of Agent 47, how this is the end of the Hitman trilogy, and they're done for now for Hitman. So I think for that, you know, it could be for money purposes, it could be for excitement purposes. Let's tell people what's coming in the future. I don't think Bond is coming out next year. I don't think it's coming out, you know, in like 5 months, right? It's going to be a while, but I think the general point of it was just to get it out there and say, hey, once we're done, because then people will say, okay, and to be honest with you, people that don't know about, you know, because people aren't online every single day, people that don't know will play this game or see this game, and they'll say, okay, is there like a plan for more? And then they'll run into the Bond stuff, and then they run into that because, oh, okay, they made Hitman, but now they're making Bond. All right, now, the game, I won't spoil the ending. I did see the ending. There is actually 2 different endings of this game, and I'm not going to say, you know, what they are, but they do leave it up possibly, very lightly, to make more. So if they were to make more, I would say it's equal. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's equally likely that they could continue on from right here, right where they left off, or just do it brand new. The thing with these Hitman games, and it's no surprise, and I don't think really anybody's going to have a violent opinion, you know, against me, is they're based off of the gameplay and the setup and the locations. They weren't always like that. I will say that. I mean, not in the same way. You know, even the best Hitman games of all time. I mean, ultimately, it's how you handle, you know, taking out your targets and learning and planning and strategizing, all that stuff. That's always, I guess, the fundamentals. I feel like the base story has lacked over these 3 games. Nobody's saying these are the greatest stories of all time. The way it's been handled is kind of weird overall. And so my point is, in reality, the thing that you need to take going forward, if there are more Hitman games, which I do think there will be, I truly cannot imagine this franchise stays dead, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But I think if you were to make another one, you could continue it because, again, the story doesn't really matter. You could reboot it because the story really doesn't matter. As long as you keep the fundamentals of what made these 3 games really, really good, which, again, at the end of the day, boils down to the locations, and now being able to handle these executions, let's call them, in the greatest and biggest scoped ways we've ever had. Okay, the amount of planning you can do and preparation and disguises and the way you handle everything in these levels, we've never seen it. Now, again, bigger doesn't always mean better, but the scope of this is so enormous and does make it so insanely good. Okay, it really, really does. Now, again, what's funny about Hitman, and I've said this before, and again, I don't really think this is any secret either, is these games have not sold well at all. It's almost like it reminds me a lot of like Resistance, where the Resistance franchise and Hitman, they're both really well regarded. Like, people love them that have played them. Critics even, our good old friend the critics, right? The media, they love it. They really love it. It gets pushed to a fair extent, but maybe it's not the greatest thing of all time. It comes out, everybody loves it. Everybody that plays it loves it, okay? And then it disappears. And then you find out, oh, it really didn't sell all that well. And that's what's happened for both of them. Now, Hitman 1 was episodic, so that was a little bit different, but that did not do well either. So that's the funny, it's funny kind of like a sad way. That's the weird thing with Hitman is, and I guess goes into like if you believe or not believe if there'll be future ones, is there a point, and I think this is the point in a different way, where IO Interactive looks at the game and says, like, we're done. Now, a trilogy is a good place to end it, but you could always do more. In fact, even for like a game, say, like Resistance, I think you could absolutely have done more, right? But it's like, okay, well, it's the end of a trilogy. It's a good stopping point. We need to continue to figure out ways of pushing it. And that's kind of what they've always said. You know, they've always been looking for ways to get more and more people into this game because for whatever reason, Hitman's a big name, but people aren't as interested in it as people may think. So, and I'm not, like, by the way, I'm not like attacking it. I'm not saying it should be this way, right? I'm rooting for it. I want the game to succeed. I love Hitman. So it's just interesting. And I feel like that does play a little bit into how long it's going to be like taken off. And Bond also is a thing too, where it's like, okay, well, they're done. They take 3-4 years, let's say, they make Bond. Do they make Bond 2? Do they make, or like, you know, whatever it is, do they make a second game? Do they make another random, like another, property thing, which they said they very well could do? It's not just, in fact, I believe their president of IO Interactive said that they are going to work with, or they want to work with, properties that aren't just these two. Now, he also did say Hitman. So he said, like, we want to work with properties that aren't just Hitman and Bond, which could mean he could be talking about Hitman past tense, or he could be talking about, hey, going forward, of course we're going to go back to Hitman, of course we're going to be making Bond, but we want more properties to work with as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it. I feel like it is kind of it's sad actually in a way. You know, I think the Bond game is going to be, in a lot of ways, maybe even better than Hitman, because it can apply a lot of the principles that these games have, while also having a bit more action and a bit more just like set pieces, which again doesn't always make it better, but I think they should be able to pull it off. So it's cool to see these games. Probably they're going to make like bigger and better things going forward, but it's kind of the end of an era, and we've had this happen. Hitman's done this. You know, Hitman comes, they give us a couple games, they leave. They come back 5, 6, 7 years later, they give us another set of games, and they leave. And that's kind of how it works with Hitman, and it's weird, and it's the first arc that I've been a part of for Hitman, like online. And I'm not the biggest diehard Hitman fan, but I really enjoyed the first and second game. Again, I don't like how they were handled, or especially the first game being episodic, but I think these are some of the most like fundamentally solid Hitman games ever created. Now, there are a lot of really good Hitman games just in general, but it is sad kind of to be so invested in the gaming industry and games as I am now in my own life, and to see like, okay, this is the end. Yeah, Hitman 4, Hitman blank, whatever it would be called, is probably not coming out for 5, 6, 7 years. I would argue it would probably come out 5 or 6 years if it's the next game after Bond. But do they decide, hey, let's put Hitman on the back burner for like quite a while? Let's do Bond, let's do a second Bond, let's do another property, and then we'll get back to Hitman. And that's kind of the thing that we'll have to see over the years how it goes. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? When do you think the next Hitman game would come out? Do you think it would be a continuation of this game? Do you think it would be rebooted again? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. Again, if you guys want to subscribe to my second channel, check out my second channel. It's called Podcast Now Plus. I'll leave a link for it in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you guys on the next one.